Updog Sports Talk. I am your host today. Matt could not join this week. I'll be leading the way here, and I am joined by our intern Tones. We are going to be talking about a lot of fun topics today. Now, I went on an adventure to Buffalo, so we'll be kind of recapping a little bit of that, what I saw from my college NFL doubleheader, and of course, some of the issues that we saw in the NFL again. Unfortunately, we will be complaining about refs again, but we'll also be talking about really the college program that they need to get behind in Buffalo and just really what a cool area that is. And then also, we'll be diving into some redemption teams, and we even watched it back and found out how Western Carolina's Taron Dickens completed 46 consecutive passes. How did that happen? You'll find out. Yeah, Tony, how was your weekend over there?
It was pretty good. It was good. We had a good Michigan win against old Wisconsin. Um,
Oh, poor Wisconsin.
in other news, the Bengals moved on. They moved on from Browning. And of all the options out there, there's a guy, you may have heard of him, Joe Flacco, uh,
Go,
caught
go,
in the
go, Joe
economy
Flacco.
caught in the economy section of the flight from Cleveland to Cincinnati. So inspiring confidence everywhere he goes. I'm ambivalent about it at this point. There's reasons to think it was terrible. There's reasons to think maybe it was the right move. So I'm kind of on the fence. But until Burrow's back and Flacco we trust.
Just gotta trust the Flacco climb and
Just got to trust the wisdom.
hope it gets you there. So if you don't know, I went on a doubleheader trip to Buffalo, got to experience both college and NFL, and I just cannot help but to be mad again because this was another primetime game where we once again saw the refs dictate everything. It was it was an awesome experience overall. Don't get me wrong, but we just saw so much of Sean Hockley and his crew in that first half that it was just an ugly game. I don't know what it looked like for you, Tony, on TV, but it was just there was no flow or rhythm whatsoever because these guys were just throwing flags at everything.
Yeah, I actually fell asleep through a good portion of it. But
I don't blame you.
there have
This
been,
is what refs over interfering with the game does.
yep, yep. You can't get in the zone when it's so stop and start. And I mean, even from a fantasy perspective, no one really did a lot of work. Drake May did well. And Stephon Diggs, he had himself a day, but I mean, otherwise it was pretty forgettable. But the question of the hour: did you get the white Rivals jersey?
No, I did not. It is officially cursed. I mean, we even talked about that when we saw each other last week. I was like, I have to wait until after the game. I have to make sure it's not cursed. And guess what happened? It's now cursed.
Can't have it. How
Yeah,
much did you see? How much it
amazing
cost
looking
though?
jersey.
Was it more expensive
So
at the stadium?
it is for sure. Like, I mean, you're
Yeah.
looking probably close to about $200, but
Ooh, ooh.
yeah. And now there's a lot of people that have these where it's going to become like a bottom of the closet situation because they're like, we can't take this out ever again. It looks awesome, but it's just
It's a looking jersey. It's not a wearing jersey.
I know, right? And and now here, even putting aside the Bills, because honestly, the Bills played bad themselves. Like, this is just when you're the NFL and you claim to be the best sport in the world, and these are the games that you're putting in front of everyone. You're not displaying a good product right now. When there's this many flags and you're calling flags on like stuff that's like happening, not even impacting a play, you're not putting a good show on right now. now, and instead you're putting people like Tony to sleep.
Yeah. Yeah, I was out like a light. I did wake up for the very final 5 minutes though, which is arguably some of the best football you'll ever watch is in the fourth quarter. So,
Yeah, and like they kind of backed off a little bit, but of course typical for Sean Hockley and this crew, one of the five most obvious penalties of the game was the pass interference there at the end that they didn't call. So typical for them calling a Bills game. I have a lot against Sean Hockley. I do not know what his glitch is about the Bills. I actually read off a stat in our group chat that they were 0-6. They actually are 1-5, but still, I can't remember how many years it was, but it's not good. And really, this guy is someone who is like, no, this is not your house. This is my house. And the stats show that he often throws a lot more flags on the home team than the away team.
we see this a little bit in the MLS where referees really control the outcomes of games. And you know, with my psychology background, I think, are we more aware of it because we see it happening, or is there, bona fide statistical differences, with how refs officiate? And so that's always an area that I'm interested in digging into because, that's something that should be controlled for if there is bias.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And see, it's got the dog even heated up.
She's
Um,
wound up, everyone's wound up.
yeah, it was. It was the game experience and everything like that was really awesome, and everything like that. But man, like, then you see the product on the field, and oh, it was tough to watch sometimes, just because yeah, every single time it felt like offenses were going anywhere. Here comes another flag, and we're bringing it back and just disrupting the complete rhythm of the game. And they kind of took a small step back in the second half, and noticeably, you noticed that more points were scored. But it was an ugly game. But man, the people of Buffalo though are just. I did not realize, I'm even though like I'm a Bills fan, my family's from Buffalo. I've not been since I was in high school, and I could not believe the passion they have for the Bills. Like, every NFL city, there's only 30 of them, I guess, because some of the cities have two of them. But, they all have a certain amount of passion for their team, except for LA. LA does not care. But you you see a certain amount of passion here in Cincinnati, for example. But man, it's hard to describe, but it's just like a different level there in Buffalo. Like you walk into a Wegmans, which by the way is one of the best grocery stores out there, and you just see a different level. Like Bill's stuff, Josh Allen is on just about everything in that store, and it is near obsessive how much they love the Bills, and it is incredible to see.
How many broken tables did you see? And did
I
you do
was
any of the breaking of the tables?
I did not break any tables. I am not athletic enough to do that.
I think
I
it's
honestly
gravity
though, like
mostly.
like the people that we ended up knowing some season ticket holders, so we ended up like in a nice little kind of calmer tailgate, I would say. So like we didn't end up seeing a ton of the table breaking. At one point we wanted to go and go see that, and then everyone just kind of got, we ended up talking and stuff and never made it there. But I know it happens. I can tell you that much. But and like they file in early, like it is a giant parking lot just tailgating everywhere.
I've never been to Buffalo. When we're talking about, and this is another thing that I've been thinking a lot about is, college versus NFL, pro team cities versus college towns, you know, and the difference and how that impacts your fandom. I know we're going to get into this with another game that you attended. How is does the Bills cater more towards their professional fans than maybe some of the colleges do?
I would say so. Like I think, especially like the they treat their season ticket holders very well and everything like that, and they they feel pretty accessible. I feel like, and that like there is you cannot walk in anywhere without finding Bills gear in any store, pretty much. It is everywhere. Um, so so I oh yeah, and like Bill's food and cookies and everything like that. So like you see it everywhere, and sometimes you don't quite get that in a college town.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of different, and I always go back to Nebraska because I've only lived in Cincinnati in Southwest Ohio, so like that's my worldview. The Cincinnati Bengals. College isn't as big. Most of the fans are OSU fans, which I mean, the bandwagon comes to town and they just jump right on in. I think that's how they start out with that. But college just isn't as important. But I've noticed that you know the ABCs and Fox and all them, they're playing college football almost the entire Saturday, and that's been a change, in recent years. So I wonder if maybe the college, some of the pros and the some of the features of the college ball game that are really appealing, if that doesn't bring more people in and we start to see a shift away from the NFL to more interest in college.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And we're going to be pushing this a little bit more as we continue on. But like, the college game just feels like a better product right now. Like there's more variety to the way the teams scheme up the game, both offensively and defensively. The field's a little bit wider, so it's a little more wide open. Visually friendly, and I think also you start to see where the NFL is kind of it's more of a professional environment, kind of business like. The fans do get loud and passionate. Like, I mean, I definitely had chills before kickoff for the Bills game because everyone was loud there and it was a great environment. But like college, you get the bands, you get the student section, everything like that. That just makes for a whole entirely different experience.
Yeah. I mean, even the when we went, I've been to the big house. I've been to Nebraska's stadium in Lincoln Memorial. I don't know, whatever it is. I'm sure someone will correct us. And it is so different. I think the kid, like the youth, kind of bolster it, but I mean, you'll see old folks there too, and that's just, I don't know. Growing up, not watching. I mean, other than Michigan, which like when you're focused on one team, you kind of miss all that other noise. Um, so I don't know. It's been interesting.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think also one of the other things actually like talking about college, one of the most interesting things I noticed was how many Wyoming Josh Allen jerseys there were at this game. Like we saw several, and like they're all varieties. Like there was the brown Wyoming jersey, the yellow one, white one. I even saw like a poinsettia bowl Josh Allen Wyoming jersey. So like you had to have had that for a while. So it was really cool to see, and like even some of the people we tailgated with told stories about it because we mentioned at one point like how cool it was seeing all the Wyoming jerseys and stuff, and they even mentioned like pretty much like anytime they consider themselves in the area, they'll go to a game, and that's what they do because Wyoming fans love to see Josh Allen. And by the way, by in the area, we're talking about. I heard a story about Wyoming fans from North Carolina who had their flight canceled, and they were like, all right, guess what? We're just going to go rent a car, drive up to New York, and go see Josh Allen play. Like, that's the kind of passion they have for him as well. So, like, I think that's pretty cool to see from a college program. Like, you have a lot of college programs that love their former athletes and stuff, but I don't know if it's to the degree that Wyoming fans love Josh Allen.
He certainly has a cult following, which is good. I mean, he's one of those players that anyone can enjoy watching. Like anyone not fall in love, but he brings a lot of excitement to the game. He brings kind of a golden retriever esque energy, and I
That's
think
actually a
people like
really
that.
good way of putting that.
That's just what comes to mind to me first is a golden retriever.
Well, I like that. As someone that has a golden retriever. Um,
Big golden
but yeah,
retriever guy
I think
yourself.
yeah, he's a very likable person, and I think there's a lot of people out there that want to see him and the Bills get it done just because of how passionate Bills fans are, how much it means to the city. Like, I mean, we probably got out of there at the right time on Monday because I'm sure Monday was a very miserable day around town because that is definitely a city where, I mean, there's a lot of cities out there where the NFL team dictates the mood the next week. Cincinnati's probably one of them. But man, like that's a whole different level, and I'm sure everyone was pretty down about that and cursing Sean Hockley's name.
He was getting some hate.
Yeah, I mean, I did have to check like while we were in traffic on the way out. Like, I did have to check to see like if it wasn't just within the stadium. And I did notice a lot of talking heads were talking about the refs again, which I hope the next time we bring up the NFL on this show, hopefully we're not complaining about the refs again.
Only good
I'm
things,
tired
not
of
the laundry.
I'm tired of having to go on that, but like every single time we get these showcase primetime games, we just keep seeing the refs wanting to make it about them. And they're acting like, hey, you're here to see us call flags. You're not here to see Josh Allen versus Drake May.
Yep.
But yeah, so moving on to the college game now, we saw a thriller on Saturday. Buffalo took down Eastern Michigan in overtime. This game was very much back and forth all game. Eastern Michigan kept giving out a punch, and then Buffalo would counter punch, and it really just kept going like that all the way until the fourth quarter. Eastern Michigan was a team that really needed a win. So did Buffalo. Like it was a lot of desperation on both sides. McMillan, Eastern Michigan's running back, that dude is an underrated player. He was definitely one of the most impressive players I saw out there. He picked up a huge reception. Also, just was very difficult to stop. And really, Eastern Michigan's offense moved the ball pretty well. They just had a hard time finishing some drives. And I know, like, Noah Kim, for the most part, their quarterback, he played a pretty good game, but he had two pretty rough moments that I did see went pretty viral, including the game-ending two-point conversion where they went for two to win it in first overtime. And as soon as he made the move, he basically dropped the ball.
Ooh. Pressure was too great.
Yeah, the pressure was just too much. But other than like that moment, like he played pretty well. On Buffalo's side, like again, Red Murdoch is just a huge difference maker. He currently leads college football in tackles, and I think there's a little bit of maybe Buffalo wasn't quite what we expected in preseason. The offensive line is not getting quite the push that we expected them to get, and teams are able to run on them a little bit better than expected. But this is a really resilient effort for them. The last 2 weeks, they saw games slip away from them at the last moment. And this time, instead of seeing it slip away late, they went on a over 90-yard drive with, like, they're facing 3rd and 10 on their own 8-yard line with 45 seconds left. Managed to get out of that, drive down the field, kick a field goal to bring it to overtime, and then win it in overtime. So that was a good feeling moment for Buffalo. And this is where I begin my pitch where, Buffalo is a city that's very passionate about sports. Like, I mean, they even love and hate the Sabres at the same time because, the Sabres struggle a lot. And, like, they even put, a minor league baseball team, they even have some energy behind that. Like, I think this Buffalo program could really do a lot if we started to see the city put behind more energy behind this program. This program has a good coach right now. You've got some good players. For one, there's been a pipeline between the Bulls and the Bills. I believe, if I remember correctly, because at one point the Bulls started doing players in the NFL. Like, there's at least like 3 or 4 players from Buffalo that are currently on the Bills' 53-man roster. That includes Buffalo Joe, who actually had a pretty good game against New England, and some backup corners. Like, so you get to see your future Bills playing in action, and really, this game is a lot more. I would say college is a lot more family friendly, especially in the MAC. You're looking at the ticket prices; they are significantly less. Like, for me, getting 2 NFL tickets was a lot of money. Definitely
That it
something
hurts.
you can only do once a year. But like, you could go to every single Buffalo Bulls game for pretty much the same price, especially with a family. Because you have children, you're looking at buying 3, 4 tickets. That adds up real quick. But you get to have like a similar experience, maybe even see where the product on the field is even more exciting sometimes, because you get the wild finishes and wide open offenses and all that. And at the same, and like, the kids get to have a good time. Like, and Buffalo really does a pretty good job, like, making fun pregame activities as well. So like, they had like this whole series of activities inside their field house. So in this case here, it was like an 80-degree day, so it's good to get out of the heat, go in there. They had all sorts of fun activities for the kids, things really for all ages though. Like, they had like a recruit area. They had some basketball competition. They had cornhole in there, and the thing that really got us, $20 mystery boxes. I mean, who could resist the call of the mystery box?
What's in the box? It could even be a mystery box.
uh, a box is box, but it could even be a boat.
Yeah.
But no, there's a lot of cool stuff. Like, we got Bahamas Bowl shirts in there, which, of course, if you don't know the story behind the Bahamas Bowl, they've moved it out of the Bahamas for reasons unknown to a location TBD to be called Bowl TBD. So, and last time they moved the Bahamas Bowl via construction, that's not the case anymore. So, I have a bad feeling the Bahamas Bowl is no more. So this is a collector's item at this point, because these are probably the last Bahamas Bowl shirts that will ever exist. So it's really cool to have that in our possession. But this Bowl TBD, again, this is where we as Cincinnatians are going to take our opportunity to pitch that Bowl TBD should be renamed the Cincinnati Chili Bowl and be played at the FC Cincinnati Stadium.
Sounds good to me. We'll get it signed up. I mean, they had, who was it? It wasn't Toby Keith, because he passed. There was a country artist that came, and the pitch was never the same since. So if we can do it for country music, I think we can do it for Skyline Chili.
Absolutely, yeah. And, well, Matt's idea, which I better make sure to mention, otherwise Matt will be very disappointed in us. Matt's idea was just to make it a general chili bowl and have all the chili companies in the area involved in sponsoring it, and have, the Cody race at halftime or something.
That could be big. And
that would be a lot of fun.
That stuff like that doesn't exist at the NFL level. That
100%.
is college at its core,
And really, that's like the beauty of college football, is the fact that, like, for a lot of teams, in the NFL, you have one happy team and 31 miserable teams at the end of the year. And, you're looking at that, your odds are not good. Like, you are going to be disappointed at the end of the year, most likely. And, sometimes when you go through so many disappointments, you look at it and you're like, you're miserable the whole year, because you're like, we have this issue going on, and it comes up in the biggest moments. But college, like, yes, a lot of teams target the playoff in college, but you really can have all sorts of different goals. like you still have a bowl game at the end of the year. And that is a fun, exciting way to celebrate your team. Like, for example, like for Colorado, like I got to go and go to the Alamo Bowl last year. That was a lot of fun. And that gives you, as the fan, like another option to get to see your team in a game that's usually relatively affordable. So, like, that's always one of the beauties of college. And man, wouldn't it be so much fun if we had a bowl game here in Cincinnati? I mean, maybe Matt's idea is not possible. Maybe Skyline just needs to sponsor it, or Gold Star wants to try to market themselves more to outsiders. Maybe they jump in and try to sponsor it instead. But like the pitch was there, we have the venue. Make it happen, guys. Let's get the Cincinnati Chili Bowl replacing Bowl TBD.
Is Skyline the official chili of the Cincinnati Bengals? Did I make that up? I can't. I don't know. For some reason that's what's coming to mind, but I might have made that up. So that's my intern card for the day.
Skyline does sponsor one of them. It's either the Bengals or the Reds. I can't remember which.
It might be the Reds. I don't know. I'll look it up.
I mean, actually, I do know it's the Reds because I've seen Skyline there. Oh man, sorry. This is the time of year where weekday Conference USA is going on, so I'm watching a game while it's happening. Mid-Ten State's quarterback just tripped and lost the ball, and Missouri State recovered. So that was an entertaining play that just happened.
Ooh.
ESPN2, if you're not watching out there. But yeah, like, and we got like this, I think you could barely see it, but this cool towel back here, another bigger cool towel with the mascot on, and then the coolest pair of sunglasses I have ever owned in my entire life.
Look at that.
This is unreal. I usually, for people that don't know me, I usually don't get cool sunglasses because I lose them all the time. But like these guys, I'm making sure I never lose them for sure, because this is by far the coolest pair I've ever had in my life.
You might need to bring back the mullet for those.
Oh man, you're right.
Grow your hair for the accessory,
Yeah.
It's like the showpiece is your sunglasses.
That would be 100% perfect. Like, just once I get the mullet down here again, then we're looking at the perfect look. Maybe I even go with a mustache for a little bit.
Yeah. Handlebar. Yeah, dude. I think you should.
Oh, this is an incredible look.
Queso in the chat says, nice Harvard hat tones.
Ooh.
I'm wearing this hat because I'm going to Boston next week. And if somehow, some way, my plane doesn't leave on time or is delayed or is canceled and I'm stuck there, I'm going to try to go to the Harvard game. But if I'm at the Harvard game, I'm not going to be having a good time because I should have left on Thursday night. So just know that. Hey. Bruins. The NHL kicks off today. So in honor of that, wear my Bruins.
Very nice. Yeah, I'm rooting for. I don't know what, because like it would be very fun if you got to go see Harvard play, get some Ivy League action. And by the way, they're looking pretty good, I think. Like they're top 20 at least, blowing people out so far. That win over Brown University is looking pretty good that they beat Rhode Island. I can see you're looking something up, but yeah. So really, Buffalo does a great job, like just putting on a good time. Eventually, they'll need to work on getting rid of the track. I think they already plan to try to do that, and that'll electrify the environment even more, because at that point, once you get rid of that, the fans will be closer to the action. And you'll really see, I feel like you'll see that program really start to go. Like they have a food truck, by the way. So like you can actually walk down towards like part of where the track is, like the fence to like the stadium kind of goes on the track a bit. You can walk down there, go to a food truck, and meanwhile, like you're just right behind the goalpost, just watching the game.
That is wild.
Yeah, like I went there at halftime, and like it took me until like halfway through the third quarter to get food, but I didn't miss a bit of the action because I'm just looking at it while getting some food truck mac and cheese. So like, pretty neat stuff.
Yeah, yeah, no, that's cool.
But yeah, the other challenge that they do face in terms of trying to get some fans here, Matt
And
has
we have
joined the show.
a guest appearance.
I realized I didn't send you my picks, so I didn't know where we were at, so I had to pop in.
Yeah, we're wrapping up about Buffalo, but what I was gonna say is, actually, I lost my train of thought, so I don't know what I was gonna say. But oh yeah. So one challenge that Buffalo faces in terms of getting crowds, I did not realize this until I was there and I asked around like during the Bills tailgate and stuff. This is mostly an engineering school, so you got a different demographic that you're trying to convince to go to football games.
That's certainly true. That absolutely is a factor. Engineers are some of the weirdest ones out there.
Yeah.
No offense to engineers, I know a lot of them. I don't know all of them, but I know, good people. Bit odd.
Yeah, and when you got a whole community of them, like it's hard
Oh
to
yeah.
get them to the games. So, but yeah. So we move on here because that was a huge win for Buffalo, and really that one really set the tone for a few other teams in college football, where it really became kind of a redemption weekend a little bit. Some teams that got off to really disappointing starts of the year pulled off a massive redemption win. Another one on Friday night was San Jose State, a team that we thought maybe could be a sleeper contender for the Mountain West. Started out 1-3, saw a couple games they should have won slip away, and the Spartans responded. They took down a really good New Mexico team, 35-28, in a game that was absolutely insane. I think one of the biggest keys we saw from San Jose State, the announcers kept talking about the kicker change, but the thing is, it never came down to a kicker. What San Jose State did and really improved on to beat New Mexico was they finally started finishing drives with touchdowns. Like that was something they had a rough go of for a while there. Kept seeing their drives stall out and then missing field goals. They finished their drives, and that was the key to victory over the Lobos. And then we look at our next team. We have Arkansas State, who faced a tough early schedule. They were 1-4, facing a tough Texas State team where they could be looking at 1-5 with very little chance of a bowl game. Arkansas State fell behind in like the last minute of the fourth quarter, and then they got one little window. Texas State missed their extra point, and then Arkansas State drove down, scored a touchdown and the extra point to win the game, and send all of us 0-6 in our picks last week because all of us picked Texas State. We saw, we don't have to spend a lot of time on these two, but UCLA and Florida. We saw a little bit of rejuvenation out of their offenses, and we saw that pile on to huge victories for those two teams.
The UCLA Penn State one, that was one, and I'm petty, I like seeing the bigger teams get punished by the less, I don't know, not qualified, like the
The
team that isn't as
underdogs,
good,
if you will.
the underdog, yeah, the underdog. I don't know why I didn't remember that was a word. So them being 0-4, taking on a 3-1 Penn State, like the narrative is so so not in favor of UCLA, and you
Yeah.
just love to see those stories.
Well, the fact that like they fired their coach, and then all of a sudden they go on this offensive tear. Did you guys see what Urban Meyer said about the whole thing?
No, I didn't.
So he basically, I don't know if it was his podcast or somebody else's podcast, but he hopped on and was like, basically like, you don't have bad players. If your coach is saying that, you need to get out of there. But you don't have bad players. And UCLA proved that they had good players and bad coaching. And I think he was spot on with that. I mean, um, like, they had one of the worst offenses in FBS and then just came out and shocked Penn State. Like, James Franklin, those are games you got to win.
Non-negotiables.
Yeah, I mean, 0-4 team. Yeah, you got to get that one done. And instead, I mean, that was one of the biggest upsets we've seen in some time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean they're functionally done with this loss. They're 0-2 in the Big
Yeah,
Ten.
0-2 in Big Ten play.
We did see, I mean, the top few teams are pretty heavy, but we did see like a couple 2-3 loss teams make it into the playoff last year. So
I like seeing that more than you have to have a perfect season to get in.
yeah,
That really grinded my gears because it puts pressure on each and every game. You know, when like that's not how it is in the pros. That's not how it is in most other sports, you know. So that's my gripe about that.
Yeah, I don't know. Like at the same time, I think that's what makes college special. Like, and you know, I mean, you could still have a good game, good season, make a bowl game and stuff. I think 2 losses is fine though. Like, that's the right amount. I think once you start seeing at large bid with 3 losses is the point where we've gone too far. You've lost a quarter of your games at that point.
Yeah, no, and that's a fair point. I mean, if we're going just on whether it's they're having a great day or not a good day, you know, there's room in the season for you didn't have a great game or, you know, your QB went down and, you know, you've missed it. I don't know. UCLA, though, good on you guys. Good on you.
well, I mean,
Yeah,
that was definitely a trap game because
Oh, for sure.
they have, I guess they had a string of trap games. Because after the Oregon game, obviously, like they lost that game, they were a little distraught. I mean, they were in it; they could have won, but instead they dropped it, and then I think they were a little like like they took their punch and was a little woozy, and then they were like, okay, like we got an easy win coming up, so like let's take a little bit of rest and lick our wounds and get back to it, and then they were caught still licking their wounds. And then this week they got Northwestern, so they're probably gonna either make a statement win or be reeling from back-to-back losses.
Yeah, sink even further. If they lose to Northwestern, man, things are going to get real bad real quick. So one more topic here before we get to our picks for this week. One of the craziest things that happened this weekend was Western Carolina quarterback Taron Dickens completed 46 straight passes to open the game. Not even just like 46 consecutive passes at any point is crazy. Even like if you do it over multiple games, which the previous record for most consecutive completions was East Carolina quarterback Dominic Davis completed 36 between 2 games. This guy completed 46 to open a game. And so I had to watch this back and find out like how this happened. Basically, what the situation, we got the perfect storm here. So Wofford was down 7 starters defensively, and they kind of figured our only chance in this game is just to sit back. We're giving up, 5-6 yard completions, and we're not giving up anything else. We're sitting deep. You're not going to get anything. You're not getting a first down on any of your completions. We're just going to sit deep. You want to throw it short, you'll throw it short. But so that's
but he's
what they
just
did.
ran cover 4 the whole time.
Pretty much, yeah. Pretty much. And so they forced Western Carolina to work down the field. And this strategy actually worked pretty well. Western Carolina kept having drive stop because of penalties. Maybe there's a sack or a run play that doesn't work out. That kept happening throughout the game, and they kept stalling out multiple times. And to top it all off, Wofford managed to return a punt for a touchdown and had one long touchdown play on offense to lead a lot of this game. And to Western Carolina's credit and Taron Dickens, like, he got the ball out very quickly, made good decisions with what the defense gave him pretty much the entire time. And his receivers also deserve a lot of credit for this accomplishment because, they were not running wide open. There was a lot of times where the receiver was catching it, immediately getting hit in the back. And they held on to it every single time. So it was just insane to watch. Again, he did a good job reading the zone. Ultimately, Western Carolina did wear them down by the end of the game because Western Carolina ended up running 92 plays. Wofford ran only 37, which is just a remarkable difference. At the end, they kind of wore them down, got a field goal at the end to win it. Western Carolina gets out of there, but one of the most insane games you'll ever see.
Yeah, that's quite the difference.
Yeah, when you texted me about that, I looked for it, but I also had a bunch of games going at the same time, so.
Matt, this isn't a sponsor question, but it's a question that I'm going to ask you. Where do you watch your games? Is it YouTube TV?
YouTube TV.
I'm thinking about switching.
Do it, dude.
Sponsor us.
Yeah, that would be nice. They're too big of a company to sponsor little old us, but yeah,
I mean, we're going to continue to push the quad box.
I got Justin to switch. I mean, getting Justin to pay anything is like pulling teeth.
Well, to be fair, it wasn't you. It was the quad box that got me the Switch.
Yeah, but if I wasn't there every month going, Justin, switch to YouTube TV, you're going to like it.
Maybe.
Man, you guys are kind of talking it up.
I'm in grad school, so I was doing homework. Did I miss the shirt conversation?
Yeah, we talked about it. We talked about the Chili Bowl.
Dang it. I was going to bring that up and be like, we need the Cincinnati Chili Bowl.
We really do. We need to do a whole episode just planning it out. We'll plan it out for them and then hand them a friggin' beautifully wrapped executable plan to host.
I mean, if they want a really low budget, we will take a really small paycheck to be the announcers for that game.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. Yeah.
Can you imagine
Cincinnati Chili Bowl presented by Updog Sports Talk live on YouTube.
Live on YouTube, Twitter, Riverside.
That was great. We need to start pitching this more.
We need it. I don't know what the reasonable time frame is to plan a bowl game. To me,
probably about 2 years.
Okay, yeah. Hey, we gotta do it. We gotta start now.
Justin and I've been planning for about 2 years.
Yeah.
So
yeah, and also someone has to play in a bowl game somewhere. There's a bowl TBD out there. Mm-hmm. That's how we got into Chili Bowl to begin with. Was there was a bowl TBD because the Bahamas Bowl doesn't exist anymore.
Tony, when we talk MLS again, we can, because we'll be talking about that stadium. Maybe you and I can throw in like a 6-hour chat about Cincinnati Chili Bowl at TQL Stadium, presented by Updog Sports Talk, live on YouTube and X.
Yep. Just comes right off the tongue.
Yeah. That's one that would be like everybody would have to say it, because if they cut it off, it just wouldn't do it justice. That's like what was the one last year with Snoop?
Oh, yeah.
The Snoop Dogg Arizona Bowl, presented by Dre and Snoop. No, wait, sorry. I messed up the name. The Snoop Dogg Arizona Bowl, presented by Gin and Juice by Dre and Snoop. It's so long, it's hard to remember the correct order. That
is a title.
Yeah. By the way, mentioning the shirts of Buffalo, now that I think of it, Miami, what are you guys doing? To give a mystery box and fill them with a bunch of the shirts from that bowl game. I would definitely buy a mystery box from Miami on, I don't know if they have a home game on Saturday. I don't think they do, but whatever the next home game is for $20, if you potentially have a Snoop Dogg Arizona Bowl presented by Gin and Juice by Dre and Snoop bowl game shirt in that box.
My favorite thing about that mystery box is the conversation you and I had, Justin, where we were like, a boat is a boat, but a mystery box could be anything. It could even be a boat.
I attempted that quote earlier, and I think I butchered it.
Knowing you probably did.
You might have. I also attempted at it, said the wrong words, but the thought was there.
we all knew exactly what we were talking about.
Yes.
But, man, I executed it perfectly with Matt on the phone yesterday, but apparently
absolutely perfect. It was like, wow, this guy. If you've known Justin for a long time, you would have been floored at the fact that he got that out completely. With
and
perfect
Road Dogg
execution.
in the chat, by the way, Road Dogg in the chat had another good one. He asked if Gronk is doing the LA Bowl. It is still the LA Bowl presented by Gronk, or like, I think it's actually like insert sponsor LA Bowl presented by Gronk.
Updog Sports Talk. The Updog Sports Talk Bowl.
The Updog Sports Talk LA Bowl presented by Gronk.
The Up Yours Bowl presented by Updog Sports Talk.
So the sponsor is Bucked Up. Which
Wait, for real?
Bucked Up, the energy, the supplement brand. That's
the
wild.
cancer in a can.
They do energy drinks as well. I am currently, well, I was wired up with one earlier today because it's been a long week coming back.
Black coffee. Jet black coffee.
Black as the pit.
All right, let's go to our picks here. None of us have given each other our picks, so this is gonna be kind of fun. We're all gonna do this on air here.
Tony's just gonna wing it because he's like, "Oh shit, I forgot."
I did it, but it's not gonna be pretty.
This may be the week all of us go like over.
I mean, it doesn't get much worse than having multiple games where we all picked the same team and we all got it wrong. The Owl Bowl, we only have one Owl Bowl all year long, and we all picked it wrong.
Yeah.
But
we almost picked the UC game wrong last week, but I saved us.
Yeah, you did. You did.
Yeah.
Your
pick.
Your Homer pick was the only one that got it right. And Matt, you would have had the best week too of everyone if you just didn't.
I did have the best week of everyone.
Like that. Well, you would have been tied for the lead if you didn't bail on Austin Peay.
He's saying overall.
Oh.
Yeah.
Overall, you're still our underling.
Shut up, Justin. Shut up, Tony. I'm fighting with college football home for last place here, okay? It's an honor to be mentioned with them.
It is. It is.
Well, we go to the American. We have a huge showdown on Friday night, guys. The South Florida Bulls, currently ranked in the top 25. They travel to North Texas to take on the Mean Green in a blackout. A lot of Texans are probably upset about this game being on a Friday because if you know anything about Texans, they do not like high school football being interfered with. Who do you see winning this one?
Matt, I'll let you go first.
I am a big fan of the color green in this game.
There's a lot of green.
But I'm going to add a little flavor. I also like gold. I like the Bulls in this one. It was tough for me. I went back and forth on it. North Texas came out of the gate strong. But I think the Bulls have the better kicker, and I think it's going to come down to kicking.
Matt,
the Grammatica family is back.
I'm with you on this one. I think just even strength of schedule that the Bulls have had. Because I waffled on this too. I mean the spread is 1.5. So it's going to be a close game. But yeah, I'm with you on that one.
Shout out to Queso. He said he might be at that game.
Yes, dude, Queso, you should go.
Yeah, you gotta be at that one.
Get a press
And-
pass.
We need boots on the
Yep.
ground. We'll give you our login so you can do a live video.
There we go.
He's also he's like boo Matt and Tony because we chose the Florida.
All right, Queso, I'll go with you. I'm gonna go with not physically. I'm gonna go with you in North Texas on this one. Let me go with the Mean Green.
I can
think
just see
this team-
Queso going, "Aw."
Drew Mestamaker is a dog at quarterback. There's just something different about this North Texas team than we've seen from really any North Texas team. Like, this team plays good defense, which is something that we have not seen. Which by the way, the total for this game, the over-under is really, really high. I feel like the defenses are being underestimated a little bit on both sides. But I really like what this Mean Green defense has been doing this year. This team is a little bit more clutch than we've seen from previous North Texas teams as well. They get it done at home and pull off a big victory to remain undefeated.
You've been high on them. I'm on to you, buddy. Tell your wife.
We move on to the ACC. It was slim pickings in this conference this week. Not a lot of competitive matchups. I mean, we could have always picked SMU and Stanford. SMU's doing a blackout. I'm sure that game's a night game, right? False. It's at noon. But we go to Virginia Tech and Georgia Tech. The Yellow Jackets looking to stay undefeated. Virginia Tech suffered their first loss under their interim coach last week. Who do you see winning this one?
So, Justin, to answer this, do you remember back to when we were scheduling your bachelor party a few years ago?
Yeah, and you threw out Atlanta at one point.
Yeah. Remember where we would have stayed in Atlanta?
Near Georgia Tech?
Right across the street from Georgia Tech. And we were going to get tickets to go to Talladega. That's not a part of the show. I just wanted to bring that up because I still feel very strongly about that. But no, we would have been across the street from Georgia Tech. And you know what was going on in Georgia Tech at that point in time?
Were they still running the triple option, or they moved on from it?
They had moved on to it, but the answer to that question is absolutely nothing. They were doing nothing at that time with Georgia Tech. Georgia Tech is back, baby. The Yellow Jackets are a force to be reckoned with, and I would put them as a silent player for the ACC championship. So I got the Yellow Jackets winning this one. Virginia Tech, any team in the ACC that is from Virginia has not done well the past couple years. The only good team that has come out of Virginia is James Madison. So for that fact, I am going to go with the Yellow Jackets here. Long roundabout way to get there, but I had to get some things off my chest also.
Took a walk down memory lane. And that's great. I'm also going with the Yellow Jackets.
He's like, I don't
They're
even know how
strong
to follow.
contenders.
I'm riding with the Rambling Wreck. Give me Georgia Tech. We move on to the Big 12, an after-dark battle that is really critical in the Big 12 race. Arizona State at Utah. The Sun Devils have rebounded very well after their Week 2 loss to Mississippi State. Utah looked like a contender, got trounced by Texas Tech, but has otherwise dominated everyone in their path. Who do you think can win this one?
This one was actually really hard for me. This may be one of the best picks you've put down, Justin. I think this is going to be a make or break thing, 'cause I think all of us are going to be all over the board on this. Like, I think the whole standings are going to get shaken up here. I'm going to go with Utah. I think Arizona State is still licking their wounds. I see a fur baby behind Tony there.
Little Daisy.
Utah is going to come out firing. The Utes are going to put on a show and show us what we thought they were going to be the past couple years.
I approached it in a similar way. I watched the Arizona State it was the ending of that game last week. And man, it felt like a heartbreaker for them, I feel like. And so I'm going with Utah as well.
I might have to switch it up on you guys. Nah, I'm going with Utah. I like the Utes up front. They look really good, really on both lines. And Arizona State, the one thing that worries me about them, like this is a very clutch team. Pulled off the huge win over TCU the last time out. They call some very weird plays in the red zone, and it came back to bite them against Mississippi State. I feel like there's going to be a point where it hits them again, and it could be here, especially with the Muffs rocking in this after dark environment. I got to go Utah. And then we move on to the Big Ten. In terms of finding an under the radar game to pick, it was not easy. Iowa, Wisconsin. Has Luke Fickell completely given up on this thing? Is there any hope for Wisconsin? If so, they have a chance to show it here. Who do you think wins this one?
I'm going to go with Iowa. Defense and punting is the name of the game. And they have I wouldn't say a great quarterback, but a step up in quarterback from what they've had in the past. So I think the Hawkeyes are going to put on a show for those kids in the hospital.
It's at Wisconsin, isn't it?
It's at Wisconsin.
Yeah, but it's going to be televised in the hospital.
That's true, yeah.
Matt caught you with a technicality.
You getting tricky, sir.
But I don't think that
hospital
has YouTube TV for all their kids, so they're not going to be able to
They're stuck with
it. Yeah.
Hulu like the rest of us peasants. I'm going with Wisconsin. It's the return to Camp Randall. Their remaining schedule is disgusting. It's now or never. If they don't win, I don't think they will the rest of the season.
Yeah, they're pretty much doomed if they don't. But no, I gotta
doomed
go
if they
Iowa.
do, doomed if they don't.
I gotta go with Iowa. To be honest, the first opportunity that Wisconsin needed to win was a few weeks ago against Maryland. They lost by 17.
But it was September,
Maryland. It was September, Maryland. Which, by the way, a bunch of us were correct about picking against them in October. But yeah, no, I've got to go with Iowa here. I think Iowa is just all around a slightly better version of what Wisconsin wants to be. So, got to go with the Hawkeyes on this.
Hawkeys. Hawk Tuas.
We go to Conference USA, a huge matchup in this conference. Louisiana Tech and their defense. Again, keep in mind, Louisiana Tech's defense has given up 6 touchdowns this year and has scored 5 of them. They take on Kennesaw State, who has a star in the making at quarterback, maybe even the best quarterback in the conference. The Owls have been looking very surprising. Who do you think wins this one and makes a statement in Conference USA?
I think that question kind of gives away who you're looking at, Justin. Because you let it off.
I don't know if it does.
You elongated that who there. I like Louisiana Tech's defense. I really want to pick the Owls. I like Kennesaw State. I like what they're doing. But I just think that this... they're the Bulldogs, right?
Yeah.
I just
Bulldogs.
like blanked on that. The Bulldogs, they're an underrated team. Like they're a team that we really haven't thought of in a couple of years when it comes to like their success. So I think they're kind of back. I do think they win this one, though.
I was going more with a gut feeling of Louisiana Tech, but you said a lot of things that I agree with. I think we kind of process these the same way, so I don't know how I'm a couple games up on you. But I wanted to pick Kennesaw State, But I can't. The gut goes with the Bulldogs.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, I wanted to pick them as well, but I just fall a little bit short of it. Kennesaw State has started their last few games on fire, but they have not been able to really score outside the first quarter. That's something to watch out for as well. I gotta trust Louisiana Tech in this defense. This defense is menacing so far. I'm riding with the Bulldogs.
That's a sweep.
We move to the MAC where we have the game of the week for us here at the Updog headquarters, the Battle of I-75, the biggest in-state rivalry in Ohio. Bowling Green hosting Toledo. This is a huge game for MAC title contention. The loser already has 2 MAC losses. The winner has to be feeling pretty good about where they are. Who do you see winning this one?
Bowling Green, baby. They showed flashes of what they could be against Cincinnati. They just couldn't pull it out. Cincinnati ended up being a pretty good team. Toledo, they've shown me that they're the exact same as last year. They have consistency problem. And I think Bowling Green is going to take advantage of that. And I think special teams, Petaway, is going to be a difference maker here. By the way, he leads college football in average return yards. Keep that going. Let's go. Bowling Green Falcons. Pudge.
The cat.
I'm a cat man.
Because we're cat men. Justin isn't. He's a golden retriever guy himself.
Hold on. Queso. Come on, dude. BG
To be
is
fair,
in Ohio.
To be fair, there is a Bowling Green, Kentucky, and a Bowling Green, Ohio.
But in Bowling Green, Kentucky, this is how you can remember it. Bowling Green, Kentucky has the Corvette plant. Corvette plant is in Western Kentucky. And that's where Western Kentucky is.
Yep. Just think of, Bowling Green, Kentucky, Big Red, Bowling Green, Ohio, Pudge.
Falcons are birds. Birds fly south in the winter. They're south of Toledo.
Kentucky.
Wait, did Tony ever get to make his pick?
He did
No.
not. I cut him off.
Waffling. You cut him off.
I know this will break your heart, but I'm going with Toledo. I think their offense is stronger, and their defense, I think, will kind of oppress you guys. I don't think you guys are showing significant offensive prowess, and so I think they'll be able to kind of take control of the game, and that's unfortunately how I see it going down.
Missouri State just scored a very wild touchdown here with 2 minutes left in the half. This is that time of year, getting distracted in the middle of the podcast because there's Conference USA on. But yeah, Toledo's defense is loaded with talent. They have probably multiple guys back there that are going to get drafted in the NFL. And I'd be lying if I said I was not concerned about that. I am. Especially because Bowling Green has struggled a lot with the forward pass, but Bowling Green has done a good job of controlling the ball. They run it pretty well. And again, like Matt said, Toledo has not been consistent this year. In fact, Toledo has, in their odd number games so far, they have struggled. Maybe that's what we need here for Bowling Green to pull off the win. I got to take my homer pick here and go with the Falcons in this one.
Hey, I took the homer pick last week and it worked out, Justin. Screw you, Tony.
I was wrong then. I could be wrong now, I guess.
And by the way, my excitement over that Missouri State touchdown was over nothing. The guy's knee was down as soon as he caught the ball, so that's what they're at, like the 30. We go to the Mountain West. This one is a fun one. Late night football, well, at least late night here. Utah State at Hawaii. The Hawaii test. The winner of this one is definitely in the thick of the race at the top of the Mountain West. Who do you think can win this one?
Hawaii's going to own the Mountain West this year, and I think the Rainbow Warriors pull this one out.
Yep, I have Hawaii as well. It's I don't care who you are. Traveling that far absolutely impacts your game. It's Rainbow Road, just like Mario Kart.
It's not the old Aloha Stadium, but it'll do. It's still in Hawaii.
Absolutely. I do love this Hawaii team. They are really good. But I'm thinking this Utah State team is riding a little under the radar. They are executing very well on offense. Their defense is solid. It really feels like this Utah State team could end up competing at the top of the Mountain West. And I think maybe this is where I'll go against the grain and pick the Aggies to pull the upset here.
Oh, I'm Justin. I'm in a 3-way tie for second place, and I'm going to go against the grain.
Yeah, he thinks he's going to get one up on us this week.
Yeah.
We go to the Pac-12, a very weird game. Wake Forest and Oregon State. This has to be the first time these two have ever played. I can't imagine they will have played before. Very interesting game. Wake Forest is low-key actually pretty solid. They're 3-2. Their losses are to NC State and nearly upsetting Georgia Tech. Oregon State, on the other hand, 0-6. Desperately looking for positive momentum. They just fired their special teams coach because they ranked dead last in special teams. Who wins this one?
I mean, Wake Forest is traveling across the country, but man, Oregon State just sucks. They're not a good
brutal.
representation of the Pac-2. Like, their coach last year, was it last year? He would just packed up and left everything at will.
2 years ago, when the Pac-12 started to break up, their coach, who was an Oregon State alum, keep in mind this guy, he was the quarterback that was throwing to Chad Johnson and TJ Houshmandzadeh when they were there. Yeah. Left for Michigan State and then left all his gear at Goodwill.
That's wild.
So for that, I'm going with Dave Clawson's old Wake Forest team because he's no longer there. I had to slip in another BG reference somewhere in there.
Well done.
I'm going to go Demon Deacons.
I'm going to choose to be a Beaver. I picked them last week.
Believer?
A Beaver believer, Justin. You know it. 0-6. Now or never, dude.
Tony's going to ride Oregon State until they finally get a win.
I will pick them every time because they need this.
If only this was South Carolina and not Wake Forest.
I know. Oh, that would be glorious. One of these days. They've never played each other, but maybe one day they will.
And then we can say that.
We should post a short of Justin being a beaver believer.
Well, you know what? I am a beaver believer. I'm going Oregon State. They get it done this week. New special teams coach, capable special teams get it done. The Beavers finally get that win. This is a tough trip for Wake Forest, an unusual trip, an environment they are not used to. I think that will play a factor as well in this game. Now we go to the SEC, and I mean, there was no way this couldn't be the game that we picked into last week. Bobby Petrino's return. And of course, Tennessee is that cursed program that has to go against Bobby Petrino in his first game back. Who do you think wins this one?
I'm still going Tennessee, but it's only because 2 weeks ago they fired their head coach. Bobby Petrino comes in and immediately fires the defensive coordinator, saying, "I do not like you." I think there's too much turnover there, too quickly, to get this job done here. But I do have faith that Bobby Petrino will get these Razorbacks back to the Razor. I'm going to volunteer for the Volunteers.
That was so many name puns there. That one.
Hey, I'm a dad. What can I say?
I will also go with Tennessee. I will also be a volunteer. I just don't see an upset happening.
If it was in Arkansas, I would be inclined to go with the Hogs in this one. But this is at Tennessee. I do think we see a bit of an interim coach bump. Arkansas will look a lot better. But I think Tennessee just ultimately comes out with the win. But a little bit closer than the experts think in this one. We go to the Sun Belt. Some more Thursday night action. The Conference USA game I mentioned earlier was on Thursday night, tomorrow night. We also Southern Miss at Georgia Southern tomorrow night. This one, the Golden Eagles going on the road, looking for a huge win to continue to contend for the Sun Belt. It's great to see that program playing good football again. Georgia Southern needs a win here. They got blown out by James Madison their last time out. They are probably out of Sun Belt contention if they cannot win this one. Who wins it?
I wanted to root for New Marshall, but I just couldn't. One, Georgia Southern was the first team that I used in College Football 25, and Georgia Southern got blown out last week. And you know what they say about teams that got blown out last week? They're fighting for their lives, and they're going to get it done. I don't think anyone actually says that, but they will now because they watch us. So New Marshall loses a close one to Georgia Southern.
I think the Eagles will fly because they're both Eagles. And not all that glitters is gold. But for this game, it's going to be Southern Mississippi.
Hey. So, Georgia Southern is currently 2-0 at home, 0-3 on the road. This game is in Georgia Southern. That's the key to watch there. But, despite that, Vegas does like Southern Miss. Southern Miss is favored by 3.5 in this game. And I got to say, I feel like I'm going to ride with them in this one. I feel like Braylon Braxton, he's been there, done that before. The Southern Miss Golden Eagles get it done. Southern Mississippi wins. It's great seeing this program playing good ball again.
You know who you remind me of, Justin?
Who?
That Muppet that was like, me.
Probably. I think that sounds about accurate.
He's lashing out because...
La, la, la.
I'm lashing out because it's Sean Hockley, if you don't know.
Yeah.
We go to FCS now. We have a fun one at the FCS level to look at. Alabama State and Jackson State. This game is so big in the SWAC, it actually got selected for ESPNU on Saturday. So Saturday afternoon slate, make sure you tune into this one. Alabama State lost by 10 in their season opener to UAB, an FBS program. Jackson State has also only lost to an FBS team. So both teams undefeated at the FCS level. The winner of this pretty much probably will win their division in the SWAC. Who do you think wins this one?
The SWAC has had a bunch of solid coaches over the last few years, and most notably Deion Sanders at Jackson State. Alabama State has had their moments of sending NFL players up. But I think Jackson State is now, I think Deion Sanders, when he left the program in a state where it can be stable for the first time in a while. And I think that stability has built something deeper than what Deion really thought could be possible there. And for that, I'm going with Jackson State. I'm going to keep riding them.
I'm picking Jackson State because I'm a cat guy. Over to you, Justin. I do put thought into my picks. And I can't beat the allegations.
Cats.
Yeah, I can't beat the allegations that I'm not choosing based on the mascot. But I do research.
Doo-doo.
You do. So Jackson State has kind of coasted a little bit ever since their early season game against Southern Miss. Haven't really played that much tough competition. I really like what I'm seeing out of Alabama State's offense. I feel like they're pretty good, and they will create a lot of problems for the Tigers' defense. But that being said, this is on the road at one of the best venues at the FCS level. I have to go with Jackson State in this one as well.
So that's our picks. Road Dogs. No, we are not going to touch on the North Carolina situation tonight. We will probably bring that up another time because it hasn't officially happened yet. To those of you who don't know what's going on in North Carolina, we could be looking at a Brexit bill exit. So yeah, I mean, if short-lived, I was completely wrong on that. But we'll touch more on that at a different show.
Yeah, if we were to go back to our hype trade series, Matt, you may have had the coldest take on that one.
Yep. I'll take that one on the chin. It happens sometimes. We're all wrong. All of you have been wrong about something at some point. So I'm just saying, I was trying to be optimistic for Tar Heels basketball school with some hype around football. What's wrong with that?
What's wrong with that?
Well, Justin, you started the show. I'll let you end it.
Oh yeah, I got it. No, you do the outro. You're a lot better than I am.
Okay, so I popped in late and got to finish us off. We're on obviously X and that is Twitter, YouTube. Sorry, I was not planning on doing an exit tonight. We're on YouTube and X live Wednesdays at 8. We are on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Podbean, iHeartRadio, wherever you get your podcasts. I'm a little behind on posting, so bear with me. Follow us at Updog Sports Talk on all social media. And we'll catch you guys next week. See ya.